We have several comment cards here, and it is now 2:06. So matters by the public is open. I'll turn it over to my colleague, Commissioner Bernard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first one is going to be Nick. Nick, I can't read your handwriting. Nick Lee Brown, followed by Mr. Drew Martin.
Mic on? Okay, can you hear me? All right, Nicky Brown. Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
All right, I'm Nicky Brown, represent Palm Trend Service Planning and Zoning, and I'm here to give you guys an update on all the services that's been going on, all that's been going on with Palm Trend, and give you an update on that. First, I'd like to thank you all for your wonderful service that you guys have been doing as a county. I take this off. As Palm Beach County, you guys have been doing a great job. And I have to say this, because I've seen it with my own two eyes. You guys have gone above and beyond. And you guys all should thank yourselves for this. And I really give you guys a great hand. As looking to everything that's been going on right now with Palm Trend is, first of all, I'd like to let you guys know about the holiday hours, which is going extremely well. And I'd like you guys to know that on Easter, Palm Trend ridership numbers was 7,000. That was for Easter. That's the amount of people that rode Palm Trend on Easter. So this is a wonderful service. And so it is working. So as it goes on, I think it's going to get more and more. And I think this service has been really something. And also, I would also like to thank you for the cleanliness on the buses. You guys have been doing an excellent job keeping the buses clean. And it doesn't matter where they are. They could go to the VA hospital, they could go to Outlet Mall, they could go to the Intermodal, you could go to Boca Raton, you can go to Delray. These guys are everywhere. And they don't hesitate. They clean these buses. Every location these buses go to, these guys clean the buses. So these buses are kept absolutely clean. So that's one thing I like to say that's a plus on that. Also, I like to say that as I just talked to John, and he did say to say hello to Todd over there. He gave you greetings. He also said that he got I asked them if they do need anything right now. They say not right now. As far as everything goes, the buses have been running pretty good, and all the services have been going pretty well. And another thing too is I've noticed if we had like over 20, we'd have this Palm Trend Connection service is on hand at all times. These guys these guys are just there. So when people miss the buses and they got to get to work, hey.
Mr. Brown, we do appreciate your comments, but
All right,
your time
thank you very much for
has
your time.
expired. Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
All right, bye.
We have Mr. Drew Martin, followed by Jean Marie Naser.
Drew Martin, can you hear me okay?
Yes,
With
sir.
my mask on? I'm here on behalf of the Sierra Club. I have been trying to work with your staff, and they have been cooperative. I have not been able to set up a presentation for you yet. However, I've reached out to two PhD environmental scientists to see if I can put something together. Because of COVID, it's taken me longer than I thought. And as I said, I'm not trying to hold up your work on the landscaping code. I would like to see if I can get more into the code that's a little more protective of trees. And I know right now that we've been hoping the legislature was going to fix the bill, because the bill allows people to basically remove a tree without a permit, and that is the problem. Because originally you had authority as the county commission to write your own tree ordinances and to control when people could remove a tree, and it had to replace it or pay a fine. And the county staff is kind of taking the position that you don't have that authority anymore. I think you still have some authority. I've heard, for instance, people have been removing trees on parking lots. Well, a parking lot is not included in that state law. So if people are removing a tree on a parking lot, that's not a residential tree. So for some reason, people have been interpreting that they can remove the trees, because I hear stories that people go to a mall and every tree on that mall parking lot has been removed. The other thing I want to mention briefly is on the Ag Reserve. We're starting to see a lot of text amendments and things going on in the Ag Reserve. There's a certain point at which you're not going to have a viable Ag Reserve if you, as a county commission, permit unlimited changes to the requirements, and particularly concerning are when people ask for development without preserve requirements or higher densities without preserve requirements. If you allow people not to meet the preserve requirements, then that takes away the purpose of that reserve. It's no longer there for agriculture. It's no longer there for open space. I believe that the county benefits from having a certain amount of agriculture in that area. And the problem is that the more you allow development, the more the people who do agriculture come and say, I can't do my job because it's too much traffic and the people here don't accept what I'm doing, and there's complaints. And so it's kind of a never-ending, drip of people asking for development, and then when they get development, saying they can no longer do agriculture. So I would like to see the county maybe do a workshop on this and come up with a real plan, so you have a long-term plan, and then you can put a line in the sand. So where you're going to say, we're going to maintain this X, Y, Z, so you know what it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin.
Next will be Jean Marie Naser, followed by Linda Smith.
Ma'am, you're recognized for 3 minutes.
I really didn't want to be here today, but this board and those on the dais have repeatedly failed to answer multiple emails and calls regarding this matter, as well as construction and environmental safety issues I have raised. First, I'm seeking a data analysis presented by the county indicating whether or not the mask mandate has positively influenced metrics and outcomes in the way in which it was intended to do. In order to make informed decisions, it's prudent that the county administrator and this board provide an outcomes data analysis of the mask mandate intervention before each renewal. At the mask mandate meeting, it was not established which indicators the board or Ms. Baker would be tracking and which goals were to be met. This is what I am seeking. Ms. Baker, when you sign your name to the mask mandate EO, what specific metrics are you looking at, and what are the goals and data trends expected for each metric? What is the county's analysis of each metric, including analysis if this intervention is making an impact as intended? These types of things should be tracked and reported at least every meeting. If the county is not meeting their goals, why? Are the goals unrealistic, or do other interventions need to be explored? Having worked in quality improvement in a major academic medical center, it is imperative that each metric that is being tracked be displayed with the data with larger historical trends from April 2020 until present, with interventions plotted along the x-axis to show the data's relationship to certain interventions so that one can see the trends over time. This would allow for one to see certain interventions and whether data trends pre-mask and post-mask intervention and how they compare. The board and Ms. Baker should be analyzing our own PBC data trends in this way to make informed decisions. Unfortunately, I have reviewed the county data and all metrics are not displayed in this way. Relying on the 7 and 14-day trends from the phase restart program is like having blinders on and will not allow you to see historical trends related to the intervention, and will rather just show you small snippets in time of normal variations in data. What is the county's explanation for data trends that reveal the following? Hospital utilization rates trended above never trended above 80% capacity this entire pandemic, so we had plenty of space. Case numbers alone have been higher in the majority of months with the mask mandate than before the mask mandate, including when we were open in phase 1 with no masks. Daily lab positivity rates have trended between 5 and 10% pre-mask mandate and post-mask mandate, with the exception of June and July, where Dr. Alonso also stated the virus was surging all over the country and it wasn't unique to our county. We have our own data, and we should be looking at our data for explanations and answers to move forward and make decisions. That is exactly what I'm seeking for today. I'm asking for an analysis of each metric you are using to renew the mask mandate. Not simply stating the metric, but rather establishing the goals and reasoning why we are not meeting these goals, etc. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments.
We have Ms. Linda Smith, and then the next two cards are going to be outside. Virtual.
Ms. Smith, you recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Linda Smith. I live in Jupiter, Florida. I want to thank the board for passing Resolution 2021-0248, urging U.S. Congress to provide an adequate number of new START studies for flood and store damage reduction, since the current CNS Central and South Florida project was designed more than 70 years ago. This month, I have a couple of things to consider. Tonight, the city of Boynton Beach is having their first reading of their Ordinance 21-12, Polystyrene Foam Waste Reduction Ordinance. So I ask, where is Palm Beach County's ordinance? I've looked for status on the Office of Resilience website, and I see nothing to date. What needs to happen to get a plastic reduction ordinance in Palm Beach County property to first reading? We are not recycling enough. I've passed out a flyer, which maybe hasn't been passed out yet, that has some great charts and statistics. You'll notice that we are number 1. I'm so proud. We're number 1 of countries with the highest plastic waste generation. So that's something really to be proud of. And the next chart is, well, we are number 3 for mismanaging plastic waste. But the good news is we actually send our waste to Indonesia and India, and then they are actually worse at processing their waste than we are. So we might actually be up that chart. So something to be proud of, and I'm being facetious. Another point is on the Ag Reserve, which I actually have 2 parts, maybe 3, depending on time. GI Homes is looking to acquire 362.7 acres of the Whitworth Farm. In my opinion, we do not need more suburban sprawl. We need to protect our agricultural reserve. If farmers have to sell their property to developers in order to pay their county taxes, we must need to try to fix that problem. We will need to try to do something so we can sustainably feed ourselves with local foods. We need urban infill, and we need workforce housing, not sprawl. Second part, Ag Reserve. Starkey Industries Park, an almost 1 million square foot light industrial distribution center, is scheduled for May 14th at the PLC hearing. And how does a 1 million square foot distribution center serve only the demand of the residents of the Ag Reserve? I think it does not. There is no place for this facility in the Ag Reserve. I do have a suggestion that's probably beyond your scope, and that is to try to work on urban infill. I actually went to the Palm Beach County Property Appraiser's office and compared the Morning Star Nursery, 50 acres, market value $5,243,000, and compared that to the Highlight property in Riviera Beach, which is 53 acres. Now, the price difference is different, but the Highlight is close to 2 rails, Tri-Rail and CSX, and I appreciate your time. I didn't talk fast enough.
Thank you. And
Okay.
we're all aware of the project that you're referencing, and we will adjudicate that issue when it's before the board.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have two cards, Karen Holm and Josie McAvey.
Okay? How do we facilitate this?
So we do have only one card, which is Karen Holm. And Ms. Josie Makovics submitted a card, and will receive and follow it, Mr. Mayor.
Without objection. So, Ms. Karen Holm, if you can hear me, you are authorized, or you're welcome to speak for 3 minutes, ma'am.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can, and we can see you as well.
Oh, great. Hi, I'm Karen Holm. I'm here today to let all businesses in Palm Beach County know that there is no enforceable mask mandate or social distancing mandate in Palm Beach County. The county's records show that the county has not been enforcing their own mandate since the Governor's Order 2020-244, which was made on September 25th, 2020. The records show that the county is not enforcing their mandate, yet the public announcements state the opposite, that they are.
The governor's own orders prevent us from enforcing this mask mandate on individuals. It does not prevent us from enforcing this mask mandate on the owners of the businesses where these violations are taking place.
That was Commissioner McKinley speaking by video to WPTV. The video was posted on February 19th, 2021. Ms. McKinley says that the county mask mandate can be enforced. She says the governor's order prevents the county from enforcing the mandate on individuals, but that it can be enforced on businesses. She is further quoted by WPTV saying that businesses have been and will be warned and then fined if they violate the mask order. Ms. McKinley's words are the exact opposite of what the county's records show. The county's own spreadsheet of COVID mandate violation cases show that the businesses have not been fined since the governor's order made on September 25th, 2020. The county spreadsheet clearly gives the reason for closing violation cases, and that is because of the governor's order. Here's a couple quotes from the spreadsheet. Quote, Order 2020-244 suspends all outstanding fines and penalties, and the collection of such moving forward applied against individuals and businesses as it relates to COVID-19 mask use and physical distancing. And another one, quote, not currently issuing mask fines due to state EO 244, close quote. These phrases and similar statements are used dozens of times on the spreadsheet when closing violation cases. In closing today, thank you very much, Commission, for following the governor's order. Now it is time for all of our businesses to know that you are following the governor's order, albeit 6 months later, and for them to not continue to live in fear of being fined for non-compliance of this bogus mandate. I encourage all businesses to go to www.truthseeker.bic/448-890-794 to see the county's spreadsheet and to see a brief explanation of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. All right, any last minute comments by members of, does that conclude public comment, sir? Any last comments from members of the board? Ms. Administrator, you recognized. Ms. Baker, did you have comments? Commissioner Weiss, you recognize, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I was asked to, because we gave board direction earlier in the meeting regarding letters being sent on behalf of nonprofits for potential funding from the federal government, to correct that Vice Mayor Weinroth would like the letters to be sent on behalf of the Falk Center for Counseling and the Toby Center for Family Transitions.
I don't think that requires a revote of any kind unless any commissioner wants to make a motion. But Todd and staff, very good. Any further comments by members of the board? Ms. Baker, you're recognized.
I wanted to respond to Mrs. Holmes' comment. Our CECT team is still going out, and we have issued warnings. Our goal is not to be punitive in this manner, and so that part of it is why you don't necessarily see fines, because we educate our businesses, we provide them with whatever assistance they need, and so they then still abide by our mask mandate. So the mask mandate is still in order, and so we still require businesses to do what they're supposed to. The distancing is an issue that was addressed. When they can have the distancing, they do. If they can't, then the masks are more important at that point. And we will continue to work with them. But if it comes to fining, the governor's order simply said we could not collect. But the goal is not to fine our businesses, is to keep them working and in order, but to also keep their patrons safe while they're frequenting the establishment.
Very well. Well, that concludes the business of the Board of County Commissioners. Thank you for a wonderful meeting. The Board of County Commissioners is adjourned.